Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching EXPOZ. This title is The Start of Communism, Part 2. And we finished up a moment ago where Lennon made the statement that he would promise food, promise bread for every kitchen, which launched the Communist Revolution. So let's talk a little bit about that now. Also, some of the other things that he said was bread with political slavery is better than freedom with starvation. Bread fills the stomach, freedom does not. So that's their rationale. That is exactly what he said. And I guess if you get down and figure it, that's the truth. However, there are many ways to prevent that. Now, I'm going to fast forward from then until year 2000. This is 2010, year 2000. And I'm going to skip and jump from 2000 to 2010, and you'll see why in a moment. I've noticed, or I'm sure that you all have noticed, the chemtrails, or maybe heard the talk of chemtrails. Chemtrails, number one, the immediate association you may make with that would be chemtrails where planes are flying over the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, and the disbursement that came out, this cloud that came out, settled in the water, would help break up and disperse the oil so that it would evaporate or sink or be neutralized. But if that is the case, why have they been doing this since at least where it's been well documented for more than 10 years? And probably even a lot longer than that. But I'm going to go back only to 2000, and I'm going to tell you something that happened in 2000, and then that didn't click with me until recently, and then all of a sudden I got a lot of two and twos that are coming together that are making sense, and they're frightening. I was told just the other day that a friend of a friend traveled to a western state to take on a welder's job, and a lot of people did. A lot of people would go to Washington and work on these span bridges, or go to when I say Washington, I mean Washington State, or in other states. But you know, big jobs come up, build big buildings like these towers that they're being built in Chicago now, or the new buildings in New York. You know, you get great people from around the country that'll like to go and spend 3 or 4 or 5 years on these jobs. Anyway, let me speed up here. This gentleman was in a western state, and I'm not going to give you the name of that state, but he found himself in a train yard. A train yard. Cattle cars, box cars, flat cars, coal cars, tankers, a train yard. But his job as a welder was welding shackles inside of train cars. And he questioned that, and he was simply told, if you want your job, do it. If you don't, leave. So he left. Welding shackles in a train car on government lands. Okay, now let's jump from there till 2 years ago, 2008, and even 2007. Farmers are not allowed, giant farmers that is, that sell mainly on the market where the federal government or where this produce is shipped all over the country and even the world, they are not allowed to grow food that reproduces a seed so that they'll have seed for next year's crop. Now you tell me why. There's only one reason I see. If you have a seed that you grow crops with, and at the end of that year you don't take a portion of the crop and take seed from it, because there are no seed. Now at the same time, our federal government has taken all these empty munition bunkers that held supplies, war supplies, and they have emptied these supplies in these last two wars with Iraq, Desert Storm, and then the Gulf War. So you got all these bunkers, munition bunkers, that are empty, but now they are being packed full of food, water, fuel, supplies, rather than munitions. Giant, large amounts of food are being put away by our government in these bunkers, and there's hundreds of these bunkers, and there's a lot of food there. And at the same time, they're not allowing the farmers to grow seed producing food. Even the cattle won't eat this mess. Now this came from Perry Stone. You can hear it from the horse's mouth. So I have a problem with this, in that not only can they not grow this food that'll produce a harvest for next year, it's going to create a shortage. It will create a shortage. And this, back again to chemtrails, chemtrails can easily damage our water supply. Very easily damage our water supply. I heard someone the other day say, if you think gold is expensive, the day will come when water will be more than gold. And that can only happen if it is being hurt in some way or poisoned in some way. So I'm going to hit one more thing real quick, and I guess we're going to have to go to number 3. Along government railroad properties, in other words, where there are switch tracks and these tracks lead into government lands, there are, and I already have some information out here on EXPOZ about this already, caskets by the hundreds of thousands being lined up along these tracks on government lands. So you think about it, putting the food away, not allowing the farmers to grow food that is reproducing its own seed, caskets, welding shackles and train cars, and then I will hit something else in the Communist Revolution Part 3 just a moment. Jody Wolf EXPOZ.